don't know if that's sterling.
Oh, now that is sweet.
I will say this machine is deep. I've been popping clad dimes at 10 inches. It's pretty impressive.
All right. Well, Hap got his first silver, his silver medallion there, which is pretty cool. I got a target here. I wanted you to just do it. Kind of dug it. I haven't looked at it yet. It's right here. Now this is all-terrain, enhanced audio, one tone. I just want you to give it a quick listen. Sounds pretty good. It's in medium enhanced. I didn't even know you can adjust those enhanced, but numbers are, you know, that's 93, 94, 92, 93. Now I want to go over to the beach. What I was planning on hunting today in beach, because I have the 5-tone set up the way I want it to go, and listen to that, what that sounds like. Oh wait, am I? See, this is the thing. I'm not 100%. There's that enhanced 5-tone. Okay, making sure I'm in the right thing. So my tone breaks, that comes up 96 in beach. Now this way, see, it sounds not as clear or crisp. Got a little, still coming up 94, 85. See how it cuts out on one side in this one? Good that way, nothing that way. And when you look at my screen, which you can't see, but I got the dot down there in the 90s, and I got a dot painting way up here in the iron. Two separate dots. So I'm gonna dig this, see what it is. He's been bouncing back and forth between a couple programs to see what she likes, and I don't necessarily want to bounce around too much, but I do want to compare the two. Let's see, where's my hole there, my plug. I do want to compare the tones, and I know that he just told me he it's funny. I got to tell him what he just said. I tried to set this up so that it sounds more like the E-trac, and then he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, you know, this is not an E-trac," and I just want to set it up so it sounds like the E-trac. And then he set his up to sound like the Equinox. That's funny. So I should tell him. I said, it's not an Equinox, it's a Manticore. But yeah, he set his up so that he's got almost like a cherry picking program where he has all his high tones. His high tones are all way up to the top of the limit on a 5-tone, and no, go that way. And so he's got all his tones set to like 70 or 60, to just have high tones, which means he's gonna get a lot of pennies and zincs ringing up in the high tones. But he said he'd just look at the numbers and he'll decide whether he wants to dig that zinc. All right, I'm gonna see what I got here, and it was only giving me 3 bars, so it's right there, and it's just a penny, coming up, a stinking Lincoln coming up in the 90s. Now I was on both of those programs, general and beach. Gave me that penny, 3 bars, so it's about 6 inches. We're both doing a 90, a memorial. It's probably a copper. And see, that should have been coming up. Don't laugh at me, but I made myself a cheat sheet, you know. That should have been coming up like a 70, well, should have been coming up to 77, 79, which is my grumpiness because it comes up like the dime. That's what it should have been coming up, but it didn't. All right, I'll try to keep this short. I got a wheat scent here, And this is a signal. It's kind of weird because I'm coming in this direction along the field, and I hit this with a really scratchy, a very scratchy mixed tone. And I turn, and it actually comes in really good this direction, right? I can't exactly remember the numbers I was getting, but I thought I saw 77, right? Okay, so this way I was getting a good tone. And then I turned 90 degrees, and scratchy, but a little bit something in there, right? Scratchy, that's how I heard it. And so when I open it to all metal, again, this way sounds good, but then when I turn, it was one of those tones where you get a good number, iron, good number, iron, good number, iron. So it was one of those weirdly funky things. You can hear the iron, and you can kind of like just hear it. It's like good, bad, good, bad. And it's kind of like, I like digging some of those, even though a lot of times, it's, like I said, it's a crapshoot, because those type of iffy targets, most of the time are iron, but every once in a while it pays off when you dig some of those. If I get a good tone direction one way, and I get a decent 50% tone or something in the other way, I like those. Those are my odds. Sometimes they aren't as good as this one, but there's still some sort of tone. See, this is weird, because when I put my coil over this one, I'm still getting a slight high tone, but I think it's the nail somewhere deep in there. I'm getting the tip of the nail off to the side. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. All right, so Hap and I went our separate ways. He went back home, and I wanted to go to this other park to test out the Manticore. That I've been to this park quite a few times. I haven't personally picked a lot of silver out here. I think maybe a couple silvers, wheats, but there's history to this park, and I won't go through it again because I've repeated it in my other video. But I'm right out of my truck. Seriously, my truck is right behind me. I love that. First digs. So I'm still testing the sounds. You know, Hap really wants me to do the 5-tone, all general, I believe it is. And he wants me to do like super high and a really big last zone. So it doesn't have a lot of choppiness and a lot of little flutter between two zones. I'm still doing my beach and the tone breaks that I have, because I am going to experiment with both. But my first dig is underneath this root. My detector is going crazy here. I'm running at 27 sensitivity. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit to keep it quieter. And I don't think this is silver. It was ringing in, what was it ringing up like? What was that ringing in? It was giving me a good tone right off the bat. 8279. 8279. It just looks like a junk ring, but it's got some stones on it. Probably silver plated at one time. But you know, I shouldn't have missed this with the E-trac. If I know I probably have gone through this, and it was underneath the root, so it's like, you know, it's not like a newer drop. I mean, it could be, but oh well. It's a ring is a ring, right? Nice. All right, wheat penny on edge, only about 3 or 4 inches down. Okay, that's one for the Manticore. Trust me, I've been here quite a few times with the E-trac, and I have gridded off this section of the field from the fence to that tree over in this little square area, and I've actually done a lot of the back field. Got a token and a quarter way over there, so I've done a lot of the backfield, but I've gridded off this section right here, and it's been here where the $50 was found. That's one for the Manticore. Keep going. This is beach mode. I didn't test this one in the 5-tone all-terrain or the all-tone, 1-tone all-terrain. So I should start doing that a little bit more. Just I gotta figure out how to make this more user-friendly so I can jump back and forth between 2 modes, but just a learning curve. So I said I wasn't going to do this, but in my old videos about this particular place, there's some history right here. There used to be something here, church, school or something. It burned down, I think, a really long time ago. So it's trashy in this little area and right in here. But I haven't been really finding anything old. But I just wanted to show you, I got another weedie. And I wanted to show you something else. It's like charcoal or something. And this is what happens when you have, because I have my whole series of Out of the Ashes that I am in the process of trying to get released. I'm just working on new software, trying to get those videos put together. But when you have a place that's burnt down, a lot of stuff will melt together. So you have some metals and plastic and things like that will melt together. This feels really light. Doesn't feel like charcoal in this way, but it's got some crystals, probably some sort of plastic with metal wrapped around it. So you'll find a lot of that here. Here's another thing that I just found. I set it over here because I didn't want to carry it with me yet, but I was going to come back and pick it up. But it's a whole piece of melted lead or pewter or something. So that's what I'm dealing with. But another one for the Manticore. Another weedie. It was down probably only about 4 or 5 inches. Very hard to distinguish. Now, I will admit, I did bounce over into the 5-tone general, and the way I have the tone breaks, because Hap said, you know, make the tone break, the last tone break, the conductive one, from 99 all the way to like 60, 61, and then make it all the way up to 50 pitch. And I did check this in that, and it did sound better than my beach 5-tone setup. But I found it in my beach 5-tone setup. It sounded better in the 5-tone. So I'm going to keep comparing the two, things like that, and see which ones I'm actually going to like. Another one for the Manticore, because I'm still in the same area that I've already gridded off a lot. My favorite type of digging, under roots, but it's a Washington State tax token. So it's giving me a nice, good high tone. Yeah, this one's actually not in bad shape. Well, maybe. And another wheat for the Manticore. It's 7 inches. And this one was, so I'm hunting, I found this one in the all-terrain 5-tone, adjusted tones. So it's kind of, I'm not really a fan of the high tones going all the way to 60. Because I know that some of the, and then I have the volumes down on some of the other ones, but I know that, you know, my it's fine because I know that some of the greenies, let's see, the greenies are going to come in low. So unfortunately, I think the greenies on here come in like 57. So I could adjust the tone to 57, but I really don't like the high tones, you know, like the pennies getting all the high tones. And just my own personal preference would be to like cut it back to like 78 maybe and have those all high tones. But you get a lot of that fluttering because you get a lot of kickbacks. Like this particular wheat penny was a 91, and then at 90, it turned 90 degrees, and it was like a 67. So, you know, it is what it is, right? But it's pretty smooth and worn weedy. And I'll give another one to the Manticore because this is a field that I gridded off and found a quarter like right in this very area. And somebody else has been here too. There's a bunch of plugs out here. A bunch of plugs. And I got another one of these things. So I've got 2 of these. That's a lot of lead, you know, or pewter melted. And so I've got 2 of these monsters, and jeez, they're heavy. But it wasn't gold. You know, it's one of the things that I like about the E-trac is I usually can predict that it's going to be silver, and I always say it's because of the tone. Now, these newer machines, I think they really lack that ability, but by all standards, this should be silver. It's just giving me mid 80s Mid 80s, low 90 once in a while, but a very nice tone. Oh, look at that, it's too shallow. Ah, and there we go again. That's so frustrating. It's on edge and it's a memorial. Dang, that sucks. I know the E-trac used to do that too to me, where I'd get fooled, where thinking I got a quarter coming out and it would be a memorial. It's happened quite a bit today with the Manticore, and it's kind of pissy. This should be coming up like a 79, 80, and I think I was seeing like 85, 87s, but again it was slightly on edge, only a few inches down. So that's very disappointing, but it is what it is on that. So if it is a little bit on edge. So I just was complaining about the memorials coming. I'm a little high right there, and about 2 feet over I got a weedy. Now this one was ringing true, mid 60s, about, so solid all the way around, coming in mid 60s, about 6 inches. Yeah, another weedy for the Manticore. Not too bad. This is pretty coming in plain as day, but mid 70s. I thought I was digging a regular copper penny. Well, for me, so I pulled a nail out of this hole, pretty big nail, and I was, hearing a high tone, so I put the plug back in, went back over it, and there's something in here. It wasn't a super high tone, but it's a metal button. And something else in there. But that's what I want to see this do, is I want to be able to figure out how to find conductive items next to the iron. And so far I've pulled a lot of iron and not too many coins with the iron. So it's going to take time and practice. I mean, it didn't take too long for me to really learn a lot about the E-trac. It was like, boom, 100 coins, 100 silver coins that first year of using it. But that's the thing that's going to make this better, is if I can decipher. And right now I am running all general 5-tone, and so I screwed up. I didn't know this. I didn't know that there was a 5-tone region, and then 5-tone. So one of them allows you to angle, grade, put a grade on your zone, and the other one is perpendicular, straight across. I didn't know that. I've only gotten partially through the manual. And so I had set it up that way in the general, and then when I went back to it, it was messed up, but it wasn't messed up. I was just looking at the 5-tone versus the regional one. So I don't like the fact that if I set my tone breaks to say 70 and 70 all the way up to 90, I'm still getting the cluck sound, and it's like it's bleeding over. Things like I might get something that's an 80, but I'm getting a clucking. It's like it's the tone from 65 is bleeding over into it. Even though I kind of go over and I don't see any 60s popping into my screen, I still get that tone. So I went in and was messing with it. I went in and I changed that zone as I was going over a tone like that. That was giving me a cluck, cluck, cluck. It's kind of a high, low. And I kept kicking it back. And yeah, it went away. And all I heard was this nice high tone. But the problem is, the zone is so big, you might as well be just hunting in one tone. It's ridiculous. So anyways, that's what I got to learn, is I got to find the setting and tone that I like, because I'm not liking it. Same thing with the CTX. I didn't like it. I don't really like this tone. And even though it's got so much to offer, it still doesn't match the E-trac in its tones. And why? I asked the question, why, MindLab, do you continue to fail? And I tell you, if you just put the E-trac tone and machinery in here and all the other gadgets, you'd have a winner. But this, it's so monotone. Even the enhanced, rich, it's still no match for the E-trac in its tones. And the the multi-tone, it's just horrible. Nothing compared to the E-trac, the multi-tone. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't know if I'm gonna hunt where the breaks are, how I'm gonna get to the subtle nuances of coin and iron next to each other in the 5 zone. I just don't see things happening out for me the way I want them to happen with this machine. But it's still very early. So I'm gonna see what else is in my hole. Whatever's in the hole literally was underneath the button, because the iron was over on that side, and then I put the plug back in, and then I went back over the plug, and so I dug it back over, chopped into this side, and I still had that tone, so I dug it up, and then there was that button, but now there's something else underneath the button. So I think it's this piece of iron. Oh, is that, wait, yeah, that's what it was. So that's pretty impressive, except it was one of these clucky cluck sounds, and it's really kind of hard to decipher your targets. Cluck. Well, there's another piece of iron. So that's what I want to learn. That's what I want to see. It's just 3 pieces of iron with this one conductive item. And that's what I got to learn how to decipher. That little button right there rings up 84, 92, 90, 88, 78. So nice high conductive, found in and around 3 pieces of iron, and that's what I want to see happen. All right, my day's almost over. Not too bad here. Picked up probably about 4 wheats today here. No silver yet for me. Still struggling to find the silver, but again, these are places that I've picked through pretty good. So the things I'm finding here now are things that I miss with the E-trac. So, that's why I say it's plus for the Manticore and that aspect. All right, this is the end of my second hunt with the Manticore, and I have to tell you, this is almost out of battery. Fully charged this morning when I left, and started detecting about 8:30 this morning, and I think it's about 5 o'clock right now. So that's pretty sad. I mean, if I was having a good day, I would want to stay out here longer. So fortunately I have my battery pack with me, which is a sad thing to say for MindLab. Ka-ching! That's a big negative comparison between this guy and that guy. That guy weighs more, but like I said, I can detect 8 hours a day for like 5 days a week with that thing on full batteries. And this is my coins. So I got a lot of pennies here and a couple nickels, my dimes, which is okay. I like those dimes, but it's in ratio to these because a lot of these come in the same numbers, which really, MindLab, you're not listening to anybody because you haven't fixed the tone, for one thing, and listening to me. And that's 78, 79, 78, 79. It kind of sucks. So I'd like to be digging more of this and less of that. So if anybody out there knows how to do that for me, less of these, more of these. But it's hard when these, MindLab, makes these sound the same or makes them give them the same ID numbers. Why give yourself 0 to 99, 100 ID numbers? if you can't separate these two things out. Anyways, that's what I got today. I'm ranting and raving. I've never seen the new quarters. Have you ever seen the new quarters? Of course you have. You're a metal detecting fanatics. Anyways, 2023 quarter looks horrible. Head's bigger. Head looks weird. I don't know, the ponytail in the back. It looks like it's got like that, what's that stuff called? Palladium on it. It's almost like a sometimes silver has it coating. It's probably got more copper. I don't know what it's got in it, but anyways, got that. Got 6 wheats again. I got 6 wheats the other day. This metal button, a Washington tax token, and this junky ring. One Wheatie at the first park, 5 Wheaties here, and man, you know, I kind of gave up a lot on metal detecting because I've been to these parks so many times, and you know, you start to dig, like start to look at this, all the iron and junk and stuff. You start to dig. I'm so used to digging iffy targets that I dig a lot of, you know, a little bit of good tone, not so good tone, and that's what you get. You get a lot of crap. So it's going to be sort of fun to go to new places on our trip when I go, and just go through, and once I try to get these figured out, you know, I got to lay them out together and do the tones there and just do a comparison, because there is no way that their Mind Labs engineers, they have really dropped the ball. There is no way that I'm going to get these tones, even with all the stuff that they've given me. I didn't even realize, again, that the audios have rich, medium, and simple, whatever it is in there, that you can adjust those. I still, with all of the different tones, I don't think I can even match the quality that comes with that one. And I keep saying it all through the video, because that's the number one thing, right? Everybody out there says exactly the same thing. It's all about the tone. And you know what I'm going to do? You see this little Velcro thing on here? I'd like to just make one. I don't know. But I might steal it off of this and put it on here. Because that's all I need, is I need a little shadow, little cover. So, yeah, might do that. If anybody knows where, I bought this. This was the Equinox cover on Amazon, and it fits pretty good. I really want like a visor that goes across it, and if I took that off, because that's so much wider, that would go all the way down to here, which actually might be a pretty good thing. So I might do that and try it. Anyways, that's it for this hunt, and my thoughts, of course, have been bleeding over into all of my videos regarding this, but I am going to faithfully use this detector for the next year and really get to know it and really get to learn everything about it. And I will play around with those two detectors to see if I can get tones better that I like, that I can live with. And it might be a matter of, I don't think it's going to be the headphones. It could be the headphones. I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference in tone. I haven't tried from the Bluetooth versus plugging in, if there's a different quality. And if anybody out there knows of different headphones, like I really like the KOSS, the KOSS brand that was sold with the E-trac. They were fantastic. I mean, they were really nice over the ear. They had pretty good noise cancellation, and the quality of tone that came out of those was fantastic. But it is that. It's not these, because that is producing the tone that I wish this had. So anyways, if you guys out there who are E-trac people know something that I don't, how to get this thing to sound a lot more like that, please let me know. Because there's stupid, like I said, again, there's stupid multi-tone is too weak. It's pathetic. It needs to be, instead of just a straight diagonal bar that goes across, it needs to be something more like that, where the high tone is way up there, you know, those tones of like 80 and above, but without the flutter, the cluck, you know, when you go into 5-tone and you hear it right where the tone breaks, it's high-low, it's clucking. It's like you're hunting in a 2-tone Ferris, and it's just not acceptable for a $1,600 flagship detector from MindLab. That did better. So why can't MindLab do better and fix that multi-tone? The tone. It's all about the tone. All right, I'm quitting my whining. Probably I gotta stop whining in my videos about this. It's gonna take me, I don't even know. I'm gonna probably commit Harry Carey using this thing. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Appreciate it.